Hello.
Hello.
Hey guys.
Welcome to the stream. Welcome to almost the weekend, at least for us. Hopefully for you as well.
Yeah, when you're watching this.
Yeah, make sure you watch this on a
Feedback.
Friday to get all of the jokes about.
You get the full effect.
That's right. Yeah, we got some people tuning in. That's good. Where are people tuning in from?
Let's see if we've got any returning viewers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't see
Great.
a list
Oh,
of
Supabase.
names. I can only ever see like when people actually start writing. And there we go. Innes is here. I think you've been here
hey,
for
Innes.
every single
time. Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, I think,
Oh.
Ines, if you, just because you've been here for every single time, if you send me a message on Twitter or something, I'll send you a code for a t-shirt, some swag, because it's an impressive effort. Like the start of every stream to the end, it seems like.
Yeah.
Indeed,
Well
indeed, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We have
if we do get stuck throughout this stream, or if we have any questions that we need your help with, make sure you're tuning in with very swaggable answers, because we've definitely got some swag codes that we can give out. We've got Jonathan coming to us from New Zealand.
That's
awesome. Nice and close. Is there a time difference between us and New Zealand? Is there like a 2-hour time difference?
New Zealand's like one of the first places in the world to get a new day, I think.
Okay.
They're even more in the future than we are in the future.
Yeah.
It's even more ahead in Japan then.
Yeah.
Wow. There you go. We've got Vikrant from New Delhi in India. That's awesome.
Nice.
We got Supabase tuning in from Singapore.
Wonder who that could be.
Is. I wonder who is on that account, because I was about to say it's probably Shane, but Shane's tuning in very late.
Wow.
Doing well.
Yeah.
Hey, Shane.
No, it's definitely Thor.
He denied the invite. He could have just joined us. And we've got
China
coming to us from China.
Sweet, it's sweet.
And on time today. We're on time as well. I think this is maybe the first stream that we've started on time.
Yeah, push the button right on cue.
Yeah,
probably.
Alistair keeps like encouraging me to go live on time every single stream, and I think we actually hit it this time. It's awesome. We have Louis or Louise or Lewis coming from South Africa.
It's nice. It's very nice.
And Samarpit coming from Gujarat in India. It's very cool. And Innes, yes, make sure you DM Alistair.
One of us.
Any one of us. I'm sure we can sort you out.
Yeah. Sure, we can find a swag code somewhere. Dev stuff, you know what? You get swag. You get swagged. That's some swaggable questioning right there.
You do. You're playing a dangerous game there, John. You might run out of swag codes very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, might have to slow down on it. But for future reference, tune in every single week, and we can hit you up with some swag. We've got Matthias coming from Copenhagen.
That
is
beautiful.
Awesome. Yeah.
It's really
awesome. What time is it in Denmark? This could not be a convenient time in Denmark.
Yeah. Could it be?
We've got some
early morning.
7 in the morning.
7 in the morning. Wow.
We've got some confirmation that it's either Thor or someone impersonating Thor.
So maybe it's you, John.
Yeah.
There you go. There's a reference where you've got to watch all the previous streams.
Yeah, you got to go back and watch those earlier streams. Thor, you've been here for a couple of streams. If you want to DM me after this, I'll hit you up with some swag for sure. And yeah, we all love the smell of fresh Supabase content in the morning. For us, it's definitely afternoon, but I guess
I should hope
for sure.
I'm having a beer.
For sure. Good morning from Maldives. Maldives.
Maldives.
I'm going to be pronouncing a lot of things incorrectly, but I'm giving it a go. I'm trying.
I'm glad you're doing it, John, because I think you'll get it a lot closer than I would.
Yeah, totally.
I have no idea, especially with names.
Yeah. And we've got an open invitation for us to go hang out with Afsa, and maybe we can do a stream from Maldives.
That'll be great.
That would be very fun.
Yeah.
And it is 7 o'clock in the morning for Matthias. So not the happiest hour, probably one of the sadder hours, I feel like.
Still got a whole day ahead of you.
That's right. 7 a.m. is usually when my alarm goes off or one of my children decides to wake me up. So 7 o'clock is definitely yeah, it's not the kind of happy hour that we're experiencing at like 3 p.m. We've got Razul coming to us from Italy.
Nice,
That is
nice.
awesome.
Yeah.
And Saskatoon in Canada. That's very cool.
Oh, nice, nice.
Awesome. So if this is your first time tuning into this stream, or if you're watching the archived video, we are getting together each week and building some cool stuff with Supabase. So we've been building out a real-time chat application. And the kind of theme for this collection of streams was that we wanted to build a multi-platform application backed by the same Supabase instance. So we wanted to have a Next.js app, is what we decided on in the first stream, which is our web application that allows us to write messages in our real-time chat application. And then we wanted to use the same backend and not really need to change anything in Supabase, and build a Flutter application that can use the same database and the same API and same Supabase client. So that's our goal for this series of streams. So far, we've built out our Next.js application. I might share my screen and I can show where we're up to so far. So,
Happy Chat.
Yeah, Happy Chat is the name of our application. It's definitely the next big thing. Get on quick. Get in as an early investor because this one is going to whoa! This one's going to have big returns. Yeah, we probably have a heap of messages now and a heap of people spamming us, which is fantastic. So and I see a lot of attempts to run some lovely
inject malicious
JavaScript
code. Yeah.
Yeah. Good effort. Unfortunately, it's just Supabase is just too safe by default. We haven't needed to do anything, and we're protected, probably. Cool.
Just broke the layout though.
Is this my face?
Oh wow! I did not notice that.
I feel like I can see some hat.
Wow.
Yeah, no, that's
yeah.
Damn.
My screen does not render that at all. But if you get the correct width, like
this
you've got,
is swaggable behavior right here.
Yeah. Who is that? It's kind of small. I can't see it.
Afsa, or at least the username says.
Oh,
awesome. Yeah. Oh, you tried to make
Afsa.
Jason
Nice.
ASCII art. Is this Jason or is this a picture of my face?
We can just. It looks like you got a baseball cap on there, so you know we'll say it's you.
It's a very swaggable attempt. Yeah,
definitely very swaggable. Yeah, DM me and I'll hit you up. I should change my my Twitter profile picture to this and see if anyone can pick it up.
That's quite cool. But I think
really cool.
Probably our first order of business is to knock that sort of thing out and put a limit on the message length. So
well, yeah, now that we've revealed that this is swaggable behavior, we don't want everyone jumping on that and exhausting our precious coupon codes. Yeah, we definitely need to restrict that. And so yes, apparently this is me. That's very cool. I'm just gonna assume that you didn't run it through a program and that you sat there typing every single one of these characters and staring at a picture of me. That's what I'm gonna choose to believe. Wenbo is here if we run into any real-time problems or if we want to just generally yell at him about anything. So
I want to yell at you, Wenbo.
Awesome.
I'll be sure to find an excuse to.
For sure.
And we've got Matthias is listening to this stream rather than music during the gym. So hopefully we can keep you entertained and distracted from the pain.
Talk about dedication, waking up 7 a.m, straight in the gym. That's doing well there.
It's really something.
And like multitasking by like watching a Supabase stream and learning stuff. That's wild.
Yeah, that is wild.
Hey, Hijabi Coda is in Happy Chat. and possibly watching us live as well, welcome. You have also been here for, I think, every stream, not just of this series, but probably every stream that I have done, or at a reasonable time, I think. So yes, we have a live version of this if you wanted to go and write some very appropriate things and not make us implement profanity things and moderation and all of those boring things that's going to stop this from being fun. But if you go to happychat.vercel.app, this is something that we probably need to maybe build in this.
We'll put some login buttons on there. I think that's a good plan.
Yeah, because right now we don't actually have any UI around the fact that you can't type. In fact, if I do try and do anything, I'm just going to get this new row violates row level security policy for table messages, which, I mean, you should just probably know by default that means that you should come up here and go to /register manually and register an account. And then if you go and click the verify button in your email, then you'll be able to come and log in. So yeah, we might build some stuff around that flow to make that slightly nicer. But we'll start off with the fun stuff, because that stuff's just, standard applications.
We'll blast through it so fast you won't even see it.
Yeah. But yeah, we have some other cool stuff to go through this week. We're going to look at some validation stuff. I think we're at the end of last stream, I think we're talking about refactoring some of the stuff that we're doing with our new room here, putting that into a Postgres function that then we would be able to invoke from our JavaScript client. So being able to call a Postgres function from the client using something called RPC, which is very cool.
There's a pop quiz for you, John. You love your acronyms. What does RPC stand for?
Ooh. I reckon P is procedure call, remote procedure
correct.
call.
There you go. Look at that. That's why we pay him the big bucks.
I have actually never looked up that acronym. I use it quite often and have done many videos on RPC. Never thought to go and find out what that is.
It's good. It makes sense because I always wondered as well, like, why is it called RPC? Now you know.
It is a remote procedure call. So for anyone not familiar with SQL-y backendy things, procedures are kind of synonymous with functions. In fact, I can put you on the spot, Alistair. Is there a difference in Postgres between a procedure and a function, other than the fact that a function was introduced later?
That's very on the spot, because I remember actually in high school, the comp sci class or whatever it was, that we were going over the difference between procedures and functions, and I just did. I wasn't paying attention, if I'm honest, but I think they're kind of converged now. Like a stored procedure and functions, they're pretty much, unless you're in Oracle land or something, I think.
Yeah. Well, I was about to say, I feel like when I was at university, which was in Oracle, if you've watched previous streams, we were talking about that. I think there was a distinction at some point where, like, a procedure, you could run sequential statements, but it didn't return anything, and then a function was if you actually needed
that could be it.
Then I think there was weird things with procedures where you could have like out variables being passed in as parameters into the function, which technically gave you the ability to like send a value back out or whatever. But yuck. We don't need to worry about any of that stuff, because we have modern Postgres, which
good old Postgres functions. Can't go wrong.
Pretty much the same thing, right? Then
yeah. Pretty sure.
Well, I think functionally you use them for similar things anyway.
Functionally.
Oh.
All right. So maybe we'll just quickly have a look at what we've got so far. So we've got a Next.js application. I think we started off with just this landing page where we have a collection of messages. I can bump up. Whoa.
Yeah, I think it will need a little bumping up. Nice one.
Nice.
We've got a collection of messages. So we're just iterating over each of our messages and displaying them in a list. And then back in our landing page, we've got this form for submitting a new message. And then the majority of the last stream, we were building out more the backend side of things to support direct messaging. So maybe if we come over to
not just direct messaging and rooms. And I think we're going to be doing the front end UI for that this time.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, this is going to be a lot of fun. Every time I come to all of my projects, just it's overwhelming. All right. So yeah, last stream we spent quite a bit of time in our Postgres functions and Postgres triggers. I think we were building out our ability to insert a user into a room, and then this was a trigger function which we then attached to a trigger. So anytime someone created a new room, they got inserted into it. And then I think this is what we're going to refactor slightly today, right, Alistair?
I think so. I think we're going to like blow all of that away entirely and go with a completely different approach, which is classic.
RPC.
Yeah. And we also wrote this handy little helper function where you can check, basically just call this function to check, is this profile ID, so this user, are they currently a member of this room? And just
John, do you want to zoom in a little bit?
Yes.
That would be great.
Good call.
Yeah.
So if we
Awesome.
have a particular user and a particular room, we can check whether they actually should be in that room and should be able to type messages into that room. And all of that was to support our row level policies that we were writing. And so we enabled row level security for each of our tables. And then because if you would, you need to be a room participant to be able to actually view the room and the messages in the room, I guess. We wrote some row level policies that enforced that.
Yeah.
It's all coming back to me, kind of.
We've even got a question on RLS.
Ooh. We have a question. Oh, just firstly, Wembo got it right as well.
Yeah,
Good job.
Wembo's on it.
Wembo, you can have a
It was
job.
actually way late though. He sent that message way after you called it out, so it doesn't count. I think.
Maybe it was just the delay on stream for us. Maybe he was before John. You never know.
Possibly.
Question on RLS. Feel free to answer this later in the session if more appropriate, which we are now because I didn't see the message. So if you have a security rule on select that involves a join to check something in a related table, is that join called only once for every row that you select? So if you select 1,000 rows, it will run the join 1,000 times. In this case, the check for the user being in the room. Yes. It would, because it runs again, I'm just talking with like full authority here, and Alistair will jump in and correct me, and then I'll stop talking. But I believe because it's a row level policy, it runs this policy and this check against every single row that you're trying to select. So therefore, if you were doing a join in that, it would do that join 1,000 times. Is that right, Alistair?
Yeah, I think so. But that being said, Postgres is like very good about optimizing your RLS policies. So I think we recommend using the like exists select one from whatever when you're doing the join stuff. John, I think that function was probably a good example of that. The is room participant. But it does all sorts of optimizations for you in the background. To make sure it's not like super slow. Like, yeah, Postgres is great. That's all I want to say on it.
Totally.
Were you saying we did the select one in?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So this function, we're doing select one instead of, you might be used to seeing like select star or select, listing out the different columns, whatever. But select one doesn't care about any of that data, and so it's a slight optimization to just get back true or false. And then we're using exists to just see like, did we get a record or not? And yeah, Alistair is saying that Postgres is, smart anyway, and we'll do this in a smart way.
Yeah, Postgres does a good job.
Yeah. Wembo is very angry at Tyler for exposing his attempts to cheat and get free swag codes and get free Supabase swag. Wembo. When you implement pagination on the messages, I'm curious how that works with subscriptions.
If we get time, we can definitely look at that. Yeah.
It's an interesting
because
topic
right now
to
we're
talk about.
loading
Yeah.
a lot of data. But yes, we could look at, I imagine we would just grab back, the last max 20 records or 20 messages or whatever, and then maybe do some like infinite scrolling back stuff. But we might get to it. We'll see. At some point, we need to jump into building the Flutter app. I feel like
we can go on and on forever, huh?
Yeah,
we just keep increasing the scope.
Yeah. The scope creep on this on these streams has just been ridiculous. On the Supabase functions page, is it possible to move schema public to the top of the page so that we don't have to scroll past GraphQL stuff to view or edit or delete a function?
Maybe we should talk to someone on the front end team about that. Hey.
Yeah.
Who do we know on the front end team?
Oh no, it's me.
Well, if you direct message Alistair, no, I don't think there's a way to reorder, like to choose to reorder things, but that is a very good.
I think it's just
feedback,
probably sense to have public first on it. Like if you can create a GitHub issue, that'd be perfect, just as a feature enhancement. Yeah, then that way it won't get lost.
So for anyone that doesn't know, Supabase is entirely open source. And so if we go to Supabase/Supabase on GitHub, if you create a new issue, we'll be able to track it there. But yeah, awesome suggestion. Because yeah, you're right. The things that you really care about are usually in public for what you're building for your app. Even just a way to like collapse the other ones that you don't actually care about might help. But good call. On pagination, it's more the subscription handling that I think would be new and interesting. Typical limit by plus on scroll part is standard. So I would imagine, just to pontificate on this, hypothesize that with the subscription, you would probably just be adding it to the list of messages that you already have, and you probably wouldn't worry about clearing that out because the amount of space that's actually taking up in the client or in RAM is like very, very minuscule. You won't notice it unless you have this app open for like years and years and years, which you probably will because this app is awesome.
Best app ever.
Sure. Yep.
But yes, the bit that you would want to optimize the most, the reason that you wouldn't want to fetch everything and just fetch paginated results is not the amount of stuff that you need to store in the client's browser. It's about how much stuff you need to load over that network barrier, like from your Supabase instance through to your Next.js application running in your user's browser. That's the part that you would want to optimize and send the least number of records, the least amount of data possible between those 2 points, because that's going to be the slowest. But yeah, once you get a new message from that subscription, I imagine you would just put it in the variable, like the use state variable that you're using.
Nice. Oh, look, that's good. Joshin's here as well, which means all my front end responsibilities are, just there you go. Thanks, Joshin.
Joshin.
I was like, oh, this is awesome. We've got like 17 people watching, and then it's like 16 people from Supabase. And then inners. Awesome. And yeah, React Query with Supabase would be awesome for that. You're right.
I love React Query. It's the best.
I haven't actually used it. I've heard very, very good things.
I can't say enough good things about it. I'm slowly, trying to tell the rest of the front end team to. Have you heard of this React Query thing? It's great.
Well, open an issue and we'll refactor our whole dashboard to use React Query. Elbow cough, good vibes, awesome. Yeah, love it. Okay, so. Yeah, should we jump into it? What should we start with?
Well, the choice is
constraints.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So we want to be able to limit the amount of nonsense that people can send in our messages. Is that
I was
right?
Yeah.
I was wondering one thing though. In order to add a constraint, do we have to first delete all the messages that exceed the constraint that we're gonna enforce? Or
That's a good question
yeah.
on when the constraint actually gets run, and I actually don't know. So let's find out together by trying to create the
Yeah.
constraint and then seeing if it fails. I have a feeling it's on like insert or update and won't run on the rows there, but I could be entirely wrong. I'm just guessing. This is exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
constraints, we don't have any UI around that in Supabase, do we? So this
Not
would be
yet,
writing
I believe. We'll just go
raw
to
SQL.
SQL. Yeah.
And I'm going to create a new query. God, did you see how long that took, Alistair, when I clicked that plus button? Took a good 3 seconds, maybe 1 second to show me this query.
I wonder if Joshin's still there. He can go and approve the pull request that I've made to make that optimistic.
Yeah. Alistair has been working on some cool performance optimizations in the UI, so I'm going to keep lobbing him up balls to smash down and talk about all the cool stuff that he's doing. One of which is clicking this button, ping faster. All right.
Well,
So
it will be instant soon. Maybe
instant.
Yeah, next week. Let's put a time on it. Why not?
You heard it here.
put
Damn,
the pressure on.
not just big promises, but also like big promises on timeline. It's amazing. This is the stream to be watching for anything, any big Supabase leaks. All right. So, what kind of constraint do we want?
We want a check constraint, but instead of creating a constraint, we add a constraint to a table. So we'll need to use the alter table syntax. So we'll do alter table messages and then say add constraint. So you're on the right track.
Right.
And then we need to give the constraint a name. So I'm going to call it like check content length with underscores.
Excellent name.
And then we need the type of constraint, which is going to be check.
We don't need to do like type. We just write check. So this
check, that's it. And then some parentheses. And then we actually put our check in these parens. So that I think the check is content is less than or equal to 500.
Cool. But this content here is
Or maybe we need
column.
to check the length of the string. Maybe that's just comparing the number. It's thinking content is a... See what I'm saying? Do we need to like say, get the length of string and then content, wrap it in maybe a call to length, like just the function length?
Whoops.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, I mean, that'll work.
Seems logical. Oh, there you go. There's an answer to your question, Tyler.
Awesome.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. I thought I've seen this error message before, so my guess was it was gonna fail, but okay, good to know.
Well,
So
you
not
should have
only
put in
are
a
we-
guess before. You get the same
I
problem as
should've.
Wenbo.
I totally should have. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I just didn't want to disagree with you, Alistair. You're the SQL
Oh, you
master,
should.
so
I'm just guessing.
okay.
Okay, so we have a couple of options here. We could come to our messages and we could delete everything that's there. We'd lose our beautiful history.
Well, we could just write a SQL statement to delete the messages that are over 500 characters. By the way, I just picked 500 characters as a... We probably could go a bit longer, maybe 1,000. Who knows?
Whoa, that's a very long
Push
message.
the boat out.
You don't want to
Well,
stick with the Twitter constraints. If you can't say it in like 144 characters, I guess it's 288 now. If you can't say it in 288 characters, it shouldn't be said.
Well, I think we're building more of a Slack clone than a Twitter
That's
thing,
true.
right?
That's true.
So.
All right, 500 characters it is. So even better than that, and while again to put you on the spot, could we write a super query that gets us all of the records that are beyond 500 characters and truncated at 500 characters? Even better, truncated at 497 characters and add 3 dots for an ellipses.
I reckon we could give it a go. Why not? That sounds like fun. There's we'll learn about some nice inbuilt SQL functions. I think one of them off the top of my head might be called substring or something like that.
Awesome.
Which allows us to select various things. So first step is just to write a select query, I reckon, to try and find those different messages that are over that length.
We'd want to do the same thing where we say length content is greater than or equal to 500. So this will give us back all of those conflicting things. So this is actually the list of messages that breaks that constraint or violates that constraint, right?
How many have we got there?
Can we do?
Oh yeah,
we got 53.
it's quite a bit.
So a lot of people trying to break our system, break our beautiful chat application.
All right, so let's keep that where constraint, but swap it out for an update clause. Actually, before we do that, let's work out our substring function. So we'll just do select substring. We'll get rid of the from clause and everything, because we'll work out how the substring function works first, and then we'll pass that first just a random string that we want to try out truncating. Yeah, whatever.
Right.
Yeah, get rid of that.
Whoa.
Don't know where that came from. And then we need to give it another couple of arguments. So that for the second, well, actually no comma, it looks like. We just do, if we say from 4, 4, 5. It's a strange syntax, actually, it looks like.
Wait. So run that by me again?
Literally, without just space
comma.
after, without a comma, just after the string. From 4, like the number. 4, and then FOR.
Oh, God.
5. So that gives us...
Is there another version? Can we do a...
Yeah, who knows? But okay. Let's think what it's saying. So apparently we can look at the result we get. We get those middle 5 characters. So 4, 5 is those for the length of 5 characters. So I guess what we want to say is from 0, 4, 500 or 497, right? That would make sense. But in this case, let's just do the first 10. So that will give us the whole string.
We're actually getting, so we know we're cutting something off.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. So that I think is working well. And then we can add 3 dots to that by nope, that would be too easy. After that, from the substring call, just do a double pipe. So right up at the very end. And that's the string concat operator. And then we can just do another string with single quotes and ...
Oh, that's
magic.
Cool.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh, it's beautiful. Wow.
So this would be the same as doing calling a concat function and passing.
I would assume so, yeah.
These 2 parameters. I don't know why.
Yeah, there you go.
Cool.
So now we can write our update function.
Nice. So we would want to update messages, set something. Yep. Yeah,
set the content equal to that whole substring thing.
To equal this thing. And we just run it, right?
No.
Oh no.
Well, yeah, we want to add our where clause back, but we also want to change hello from Supabase to content as well, so it grabs the column.
Right. Cool.
Otherwise,
so this is the column that we want, and then we want 500. Yep. Well, we want 497.
Or 10,497.
We can be super generous. So content is equal to that, where the length of our content is greater than or equal to 500.
Looks good to me. Don't forget your where clause.
Yeah. The reason that I was making that joke is anytime you write update, or especially when you write delete, you always make sure you have a where clause. Is it delete or is it drop?
It's delete
drop is
from
yeah.
messages, I think. But that's another little maybe secret announcement coming out eventually that will be enabling a neat Postgres extension to actually prevent you running update and delete clauses without a where condition. So it'll actually, because we've all been there, we've all done it, and you can disable it, of course, but by default it will be switched on, so you get that protection for free. Yeah,
it's amazing.
Nice.
Let's cross our fingers and press the button.
I just zoomed in a bit because yes, Thor or someone impersonating Thor mentioned that I should zoom in a bit. And for full text search, it's a good idea to make the call in real time. I'm not sure what that's in relation to.
Time.
Yeah, not sure. Can you give us more context on that one? On the UI side, can you implement the messages so that when they are no longer than your character limit, the messages get automatically split in multiple messages? Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah, like take the excess and then insert into the messages table, and then insert another one into the messages table.
Yeah,
and then
that would be cool. Except, we would never get to Flutter stuff.
It's a good extension though. That would be an awesome thing to go and try out on your own. And then anytime you get stuck, you just DM Alistair. That's what I do. That's what I've been doing all day. And then the tweet does a link to Twitch. Great.
Wow.
I need
to come hang out on YouTube if you want to. But
yeah.
They're also saying, I thought it was already out. I think talking about what I was just talking about. It might be. We ship very fast, so I can't keep up. But yeah, give it a go. See if it's already there. Not on your production database, obviously. Don't go just writing delete from everything. But John, if you want to go and refresh the UI, we should hopefully see some truncated messages. So unfortunately, your face has disappeared. But it does look like there's ... on a bunch of things.
Yeah, that's so cool.
This is really nice.
There you go.
The power of SQL. And then we can go back and put on check constraint.
Yes.
Right.
So the reason that we were doing that was because when we tried to run our check constraint here, when we tried to add this check constraint to our messages table, it failed because we had existing messages that had greater than 500 characters. So now if we run this, we should get success no rows returned, which means
great.
All good.
This means nobody...
I looked away for 1 second. Did that run? Wow.
Yeah. So fast. It runs
so
fast. So now if we were to just do one of these, if everyone in the chat could help us spam just to make sure that our constraint is working. So what would we expect to see here? We would expect to see an error, right?
Yeah, we're just alerting all of the errors. So we should just get oh, you're not logged in.
Oh, I didn't even see that error message.
Right. Yes.
Maybe on your local host.
I'm just going to close this one and stay on my local host. And now we get to type all those characters again.
Well, I just copy and pasted all the happy faces.
Oh, that's a happier way to do it. That's a happier chat way to do it. I like it.
Then you just spamming on your keyboard.
Oof. That's the same error.
You're still not logged in.
All right, fine. You got me. Let's log in. See, the problem is I liked impersonating Thor, and now I have to guess his password again. I think I've actually done it. I have done it. Look at that.
Wow.
Wow.
Anyone wants to guess Thor's password, you just type random characters and sometimes it goes through. Right,
that's technically correct.
I'm just going to take this one and do 2 sets of those. And there we go. New row for relation messages violates check constraint. Oh, sorry. Check content length.
Nice.
There you go.
Wow.
So we could handle this in the front end. But yeah, our check constraint is working, which is excellent. We probably shouldn't clear the input if there's an error message, so someone can go and correct it and then resend it, just in case they've written their multiple 1,000-word essay through to their university tutor and press send, and then it's all gone, because we know that this Happy Chat will be used for all kinds of use cases.
We have Tomehine from UK, 6:45 in the morning.
Oh,
Wow.
that is early.
That's some dedication
early.
there.
Yeah, thank you for making it. Welcome.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you.
Very, very cool.
Very early.
All right. What do we want to do next?
For the fun of it, I've sent you another cheeky check constraint we can put on,
Ooh.
just because it's a nice one to have in it, and it shows us we can show off a little bit of regex.
You sure you don't want to type this one out character for character, Alistair?
Well, now we've done it, we can. Oh,
Oof.
yeah, is your stream frozen or is the thing frozen?
I think someone has not yet implemented a optimization on our new query button. That's what I think. All right, so this is the ridiculously long, complicated. It's not that long. It's not that complicated. This is the constraint that Alistair has sent me. So we're again altering. Well, this time we're altering the table profiles, and we're adding a constraint to check the username against a particular regex. And so I haven't actually seen this syntax before. I can guess what it is just based on the context. But do you want to explain what this one is doing?
Yeah, so the little tilde, who knows how to say that, but it's the regex comparison operator, or I'm sure it's got a more official name. So it's basically just used to check something against a regex. So that's exactly what we're doing here. This regex is actually super useful for usernames. It's based off the Instagram username rules. So Instagram allows you to like start your name with underscores or have underscores and dots in the username, but you can't start with dots. There's all sorts of like there's a lot in there. I don't understand any of it because regex is like way over my head. Every time I have to do it, I just like, oh, here we go again. So yeah, it's a great little regex. It also limits the length of people's usernames from 0 to 29 characters. I assume it's inclusive, but once again, regex, who knows? Yeah, and it will just make a bit more rules around our usernames, because I thought if we're throwing in if we're throwing in check constraints, we might as well throw in another one.
Yeah,
nice.
The final thing there is the star next to the tilde, which is that one, which just makes it case insensitive, which I don't think we need because the regex is already including both cases. But you know, that's how I just write it, so that's what you're getting. Hopefully everyone's username already complies with the username rules. So
that was my concern as well.
Awesome.
Let's find out.
That's very cool. So if we
unlucky.
So someone
we can just have a look at their profiles table and see.
Someone has an emoji or something.
Yeah, the emoji might be breaking it.
Yeah, so let's just, if you want to just edit that one and drop the emoji.
Sorry,
Ali.
Ali. Not allowed, not on our system, not on Happy Chat. That son's too happy.
Jonathan says regex 101 to the rescue every single time. And regex 101 is a lifesaver of a website. So good.
Yeah, that's this one, which gives you beautiful colors, if my memory serves me right.
Yeah.
Maybe?
It makes it so much easier.
Yeah, and it gives you like a breakdown.
It tells you what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah, very, very cool. All right. So now we should be able to run that constraint.
If there was only one.
Query not found.
I think you have to.
If only there was someone on front-end team. Oh no, still got profiles.
Yeah, maybe have a scroll through. It's quite optimistic to just
All right. What do we have?
Maybe someone's got a space in there.
Oh, right.
Which we just
like
can't
a space
see.
at the end. Well, that's not helping me. Great. Yeah. Anyone who's if this is your first stream, definitely go back and watch all the streams.
Look, there it is. It's another NS.
Oh, right.
Oh, is there two?
No, well, it literally says another NS.
Oh, is this breaking because we've got a space in the middle?
We've got a space in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is like the, can only be dash or underscore and blah, blah, blah. All right. Whoops.
You don't want to set it to null.
Edit row.
And just drop the space, I guess.
Do a polite hyphen.
Are we allowed to have hyphens?
Are we allowed to have hyphens? You can go on underscore. I know we're allowed to have underscores.
Yeah, let's change it to underscores. I don't think we're allowed to have hyphens.
All right.
Looking. Oh no, the stream dropped for 1 year. I guess it didn't allow it. Yeah, I think the regex allows dots and underscores, which is the Instagram rules.
Right.
Third time lucky.
Hopefully.
It's gonna work. All right.
Yay!
Nice. So that just gives you, like, I think it's a good one to have because a lot of systems use usernames in there, and you want the usernames to conform to some sort of standard. So, as I said, I reached for the Instagram one, but you could go on Regex 101, shout out to them, and write your own.
Yeah. Another good suggestion here was to trim and update. So it wouldn't have helped us with that space that was in the middle, but yes, trimming the white space off the edges was probably one that we'd probably have to look at if we didn't find that space, because otherwise there could be a little invisible space that we didn't see at the start or the end.
And if you're wondering how to debug this, so say you did want to apply this check constraint and you had loads of users and you couldn't just go and update 2 rows, you can actually search using the regex, because once again, Postgres is magical, and you can use the exclamation mark in front of the tilde in your where clause, and that will give you all the rows that do not match that regex. So that's how you'd find them and then update them.
That is super cool. So you're saying we can write very advanced, or maybe I will keep the brackets around this. You're saying we could do like a select star from profiles, and then using that constraint. And so this will give us all the ones that do. So obviously,
which is everyone.
Everyone. And so we would expect that not.
You still need the little thing.
Oh, right. Okay. So we're just.
Yep. Nice.
Hating this one.
You just ran the star. Just to hit run again, you had it selected. So obviously we have no rows, but that is how you'd find it right there if you needed to.
That's very cool.
That is very cool.
Okay, so we now have this constraint. So if we tried to, I guess we just tried to insert.
You just try registering a new user and seeing a beautiful inbuilt browser pop-up message.
All right. So if we wanted to register a new user, and this user's email can be another Thor at supabase.com, and they had their username was Thor of Hammer. And an emoji, and then we could do Thor's password. I remember his prod password.
Well, it's not going to matter anyway because it's well, in theory, it shouldn't insert.
Important. All right, and we click sign up.
Or maybe we weren't. Maybe we were just console logging them in this case. Or maybe we weren't doing anything with them. But there, you see, we get an error.
500 error though. What's happened here? Yeah, it's failed.
No,
because it's going through go true. Yeah, maybe we should while simultaneously yelling at Wenbo, maybe we should yell at Kang Ming as well from the auth team.
Got a lot of people to yell at for this one. Awesome. But yes, so this is enforcing that constraint. And yes,
Awesome.
making sure that we can only have sensible usernames is a great idea. And we had a shout out here for having an Australian Eastern Standard Time friendly dev stream. So yes, it's slightly obnoxious on our behalf, but it's nice that there are other people who also want to tune in at this time. And our only rule for if you're watching the stream later is that it must be watched at happy hour, the happiest hour of all. So if you're watching the archive, you just need to make sure that as soon as the stream ends, your weekend starts. That's the rule. All right. What do we want to do next?
RPC.
RPC. Nice.
That sounds like a fantastic idea. So, yes, so RPC, as we said before, is a way to make a remote procedure call. Or maybe it should be called RFC because we're going to be doing a remote function call.
Yep.
All right. So are we going to be reusing, are we going to reuse the function that we already have, or are we going to be writing?
I think it'll be easier if we go from scratch. So let's, or maybe unless we want to rename it, but let's first drop the trigger, then drop the function. So, yeah, we're doing some refactoring. If you didn't join this last stream, this is what we kind of finished on, and we left it only half working from memory. So yeah, I can't quite remember.
Just working, but
just working, but I think we're going to show you a better way right now. Yeah.
So we basically to show you what we're actually talking about, if this is the first time, or even if last week was a week ago for you and you don't remember exactly what we were working on,
like me.
Yeah. When we create a new room, we were printing this out to the console and getting data.
That was the problem. We couldn't get the data back because of I think it was our RLS rules.
Yeah. So we're creating a new room, which is fine. That's what we want to do. But then we're trying to select that room, and it's all happening in a bad sequence where we're not, the person who created the room is not yet in the room, and that the function that we created before where we can check whether a user is currently in a room, they were not yet in the room. And so it's RLS is telling us that we can't have any results back. So we're getting data null because it's all just kind of happening in a bad sequence.
Yeah, but we're going to show you a better way anyway. I think this. Yeah. I was trying to be overcomplicated on the first round. We just have one nice function that we call from our front end, and it's going to be great.
Awesome. So now our on-room created trigger can be trashed, and so this was just listening to changes on the room being created, and then it was calling our Postgres function. So we also need to trash our Postgres function, but we can quickly have a look at what that was doing just to conceptually understand what functionality we're replacing.
Insert creator into room, yeah. So we could even probably copy the insert statement from the function body, because we'll probably want to keep that one around for our new function.
Sweet. So this is, just a function that returns a trigger, and then this is what we're doing in it. So we were just inserting basically the creator into that room anytime the room was created. But yeah, we're going to trash it. It's gone. Well, it's not gone yet, but it is gone. I have to type it out to keep that important insert statement in the clipboard.
Yep.
All right. So now we want to create a new function. So yeah, that is kind of frustrating, having to scroll all the way back up to the top to click the create a new function button. If only someone on the front end team could fix it.
If only.
Is this handle new room? Is that what we're going to
call it? I was going to call it just create room. I think that's sensible.
Intuitive, yeah.
Because this is no longer going to be actually attached to any of the database automation stuff that's happening in the background. We're not running this based on something being inserted into another table. We're going to manually call this procedure remotely with RPC.
Yep.
All right. We've got create room, and this is not going to return us anything.
No, it's going to return as rooms. Now, I don't know if the UI actually supports this. We might have to.
It doesn't. This is something
No.
that I run into often when I try to do this use case. Where
So
you can
maybe we should
return
talk to the front end
singular.
team.
If only. If only. Yeah, you can. You could probably maybe you could actually create a new type. If you created like an alias type, should we check whether this works? Should we
Or
check
could we
whether my
just-
theory works?
Could we return the UID and just return the newly created room ID in this case?
Yeah,
Would that work?
we could do, but I want the
Full.
I want the full the full Monty. But
do you just want the full record that we've created, or you want all rooms?
No, I want it to be of type rooms. So the rooms type, which is the table. So I think it's all right to show it in SQL land anyway, as creating, because last stream we showed creating a couple of functions through the UI. So if you need more power, you can, you've got the full breadth of SQL available to you. So yeah, I'm going to take one optional argument, and here's another tip for you, which maybe you also can't do in the UI. I'm not sure. I'm going to take the name as a argument, so type text, I think. And then if you want it to be an optional argument in a function call, especially from the RPC, that's TypeScript. We just say default null after text.
Default null. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So you get an optional argument, but then the optional argument is null. So therefore, this is an optional parameter. Nice. So you could set this to whatever. Like if we wanted everyone's default to be John. Okay.
Everyone's room name to be John. Yeah, but we'll leave it as null for now. So and then we'll say returns rooms. So even though we're saying rooms plural, it's actually returning a single room. It's just the name of our table. That's why it's called rooms. So if you did want to return multiple rooms, you could say set of rooms.
And what I was going to say before is, you can't get back like an array of a particular type of table. So we're saying rooms. Cool. And then do we do as, and then set the language to be PLPGSQL, or are we going to use SQL?
We're going to use PLPGSQL. We're going to even use a variable here, which is going to be fun. I also want to make it security definer, so we can go back through and make change the RLS rules to not make it so if you want to insert a room, you have to use this function, and then we'll just take away the ability to insert any other way. That's why that way we can ensure correct inserting of the rooms, because you have to use the function.
Right.
Nice.
Is that actually the correct syntax to just say security?
Absolutely.
Security definer on the end. Beautiful.
SQL's actually not bad. I'm into it.
Yeah.
It's very natural language. You just kind of what would I say, and then that's kind of what you write most of the time.
Nice.
So
because this is PLPGSQL, it means that straight away we need a begin and an end, and then this is going to wrap any of our statements. So probably the insert that we have sneakily still sitting in our clipboard, hopefully. But then you were also saying we're going to need a variable, and so we can do this by additionally specifying a declare section. So what's our variable going to hold?
Well, let's write our first insert statement, and it will become clear. So we're first going to insert our room. So not the room participants yet, but you can just leave that there, or edit it. Yeah, sure. And then we're just going to do the name column.
Maybe we should just write this from scratch, make it less confusing. Sorry, which one? The name?
Yep. And then values is our create room.name. So that's how we distinguish which name we're talking about.
Ah, that's right. Yeah, this was something that you showed us last week. So so because this is to distinguish it from the column name or anything else, to make it less ambiguous. We can give it the function name and then say which column we're talking about. So then if we said .name, so that would be referring to this name. instead of the name of this column on rooms, right?
Correct. So another option as well, which some people might prefer, instead of saying create room.name, you can also say $1 or $2, $3, depending on all your arguments. And you, without even the .name, because it actually refers to
the first argument.
Yeah. So, and I think I don't usually use this because it feels it's clearer to me the other way. And also, I think the index starts from 1, which most people are used to. Indexes starting from 0.
Yeah, I feel like this is clearer and feels like more modern syntax. I feel like anytime I see dollars and numbers or like out variables or anything like that, I'm like, oh, hang on, this doesn't feel right.
But I'm just putting it out there, so if you've got it, if you prefer that way, feel free to use it. It's up to you.
Awesome. So then we want to. So this is doing an insert statement.
Yep.
So we're inserting value into our rooms table. So then what do we want to select something after that?
So we want to use Postgres' handy returning star.
Ooh.
And then we can use some PLPG SQL stuff, correct? To say into and then our variable name. So what I like to use for variable names is do v underscore and then the name. So v underscore room or rooms, whatever you want to call it, just to once again disambiguate. I never know. I should have looked it up after last stream. I was saying it there as well.
Yeah, I think it's
disambiguate.
Yeah.
The variable name versus an argument name or something else used in the insert statement. So yeah, vroom of type rooms. And then you need a semicolon there. I always forget the semicolon in the declare statement. And then at the end of our function, we can just return that vroom.
Oh, nice.
So that's going to satisfy. That's going to satisfy the returns rooms. What we're saying at the top.
Oh, nice.
And then in between those two statements, we want to also insert our room participant to put us into that new room that we just created. So I think you had it in the clipboard, didn't you?
So we want to insert into room participants our room ID and our profile ID. So then the values will need to change here because we don't have a new variable because that's only available to us in a trigger function. And so this is going to need to be our vroom.id.
Correct. Yep.
And then this is still valid because we have a particular user who's going to be calling this function. And since we're using RPC, that wires up, or we're not using it yet, but we will be, that will wire up all of our Postgres API token, JWT, words, authentication stuff, and give us access to that in our function. So we'll be able to see who the invoking user is, even if the level of the function is being invoked as a security definer.
Correct.
So then our user might not be able to actually perform these actions as a user. So we don't need to write policies to enable our logged in user to be able to do these things because we're defining this as a security definer, but we still have access to who the invoking user is within the function.
Correct. Very nice. I think there's one question around security definers, which you're always so good at explaining, John. So
here we go. All right. Security definer. So there are two different types of security level. There's security invoker and there's security definer. And I was kind of like, I was kind of explaining this a second ago, but not to a significant depth. So if you do security invoker, that means that the currently logged in user who is invoking this function. So let's say you have a button in your application, and when you click that button, you want to call this function. If you want to call that function on behalf of that user's access levels, so if you only want to be able to certain users to be able to click that button or something like that, then you would use security invoker. And so that performs the function or tries to call the function with the same level of privileges as the user who's currently signed in. If you do security definer, then that is usually some kind of system action that you want to bypass RLS for. So basically, the shorter explanation is that security invoker will run against the RLS policies and will make sure that the currently signed in user is allowed to perform that action. And security definer will sidestep those RLS policies altogether and just give you access to do whatever. Well, not whatever, but
well, whatever you need to do in your function.
Policies. Yeah.
Nice.
All right.
And that's also associated. Yeah, I was gonna call that one out.
Is it safe to use security definer by itself, or must we also use search path?
So yeah.
I think this question is for you.
Yeah, well, I think when you don't specify a search path when creating a function like this, it just falls back to your default search path, which for Supabase I think is like public, and then maybe some of the GraphQL stuff. But in this case, I believe it is safe because we know exactly what we're doing, and we're still entirely in the public namespace, or schema as it's called in Postgres. So yeah, I think we should be fine in this case, just because we're inserting into a couple of tables and that's all we're doing.
Cool. All right.
Let's see if we messed up any of the syntax.
Derek is enjoying the SQL workflow examples, so that's good. So am I. This is my opportunity to actually learn Postgres. I just invite Tyler and Alistair on here so that they can teach me things.
Right? Yeah.
No,
so amazing.
Not once we get into the Flutter thing. I'm terrified.
All right, cool. So now, are we ready to run this function?
Let's try it. Yeah, why not?
All right, let's see if we made any spelling mistakes. No rows returned.
Sweet.
Postgres thinks we know what we're doing. That's good. So now that we get back, vroom, what do we want to do with it?
We want to use it from our front end. We want to refactor our insert logic. Or maybe before we do that, we can drop the RLS rule just because we want people to, for insert on rooms, to only allow people to insert via our function.
So that's cool. So now if we delete this, there is now no row level security policy enabling the insert action at all. So yeah, as you just said, we've kind of like built a door off to the side and said, this is the only way that you can come in to create a room. A room has a door. That's a perfect analogy. But yeah, our RLS policy, or turning on RLS on this table and then not writing a policy that enables insert, means that action is denied by default. So at the moment, our only action that we can perform on behalf of a user is our select action. Anything else, insert, update, or delete is automatically denied. And now we've just created this function to be able to do an insert. So now in our front end here, I need to remember where we were actually creating a room. So this was the button. That's right. So we just added a button to handle creating a room. So maybe we should actually refactor this slightly because now we're going to need a name, right?
No, we made the name optional. I just had it there as a if we want to do that in the future. At the moment, that's right. Just stick with our.
Okay, cool. So we'll just stick with our button. So this insert statement is no longer going to work. And so what we are going to want to do instead is, if we want to use RPC, which stands for remote procedure call. So if we wanted to remotely call our procedure or function, we would use .rpc, and then we just give it the name of the function that we want to call. So I believe this was create room. Is that right?
I think so.
Yeah.
And then if we did have a name, well, actually, yeah, we could just pass a name here. So if we
let's pass the test name just as a hard-coded one for this test, this first one.
A test name.
Nice.
So that should be all we need to do, right?
Yeah, I'm just reminding myself what we were doing last time is because we couldn't get the original data back from the insert, we were having to run a separate select, which was kind of a bit janky because it might not, like we were just grabbing the most recently inserted row, but someone else might have inserted in between. us creating the room and us grabbing the data. So we should be doing it within one transaction, which will be done when we're in the function.
And last week we also went through this returning minimal thing. So the reason basically when you insert, you automatically get back from Supabase the records that you've inserted. So it does an additional select. And because our RLS policy was denying that, or we weren't yet in the room, we couldn't get back that row that we had just inserted. So by adding this additional object with returning minimal, it just basically doesn't do the select. So it was just doing the insert. And then once all of that had happened and the insert had completed and we had been moved into the room because of the trigger and all of that stuff, then we were just doing a straight up select to get that room that we should now be in. So a little bit of like weirdness, which is why we're refactoring this to use RPC.
Well, it's going to be nice. You can delete all of that. You can delete the inserts. It's going to be simple.
Look at that.
Oh, lovely.
And then let's just, not that I don't trust you, but let's just
don't worry, I don't trust me either.
Console log out our data and console log out our error. And this should be all good. So now if we want to trigger this, we just click our button from in here. So if I refresh and we click our new room, we are getting a 400. But since we printed out the error, since I didn't trust Alistair, we can see that failing row contains
why was not null constraint?
Kind of ID. Null value in column
profile. You're definitely logged in, aren't you, John? Can you send a message?
I am logged in as Thor. Nope, I'm not. All right.
There's your problem.
That's my problem. All right. Let's try and guess Thor's password again.
Oh, it might be because we tried to sign up again, if you remember. I'm not sure if that does anything, but I'm just,
That's probably it.
And now you know Thor's password, so it's not an issue.
All right, Thor's back in.
Sweet.
All right, definitely working. Cool. All right, so now if I click new room, we get back our data. So the fact that I wasn't signed in. Cool, and we get back our name. That is a much cleaner way to do this. And so that is kind of the power of RPC. Is that like Supabase is awesome. We build lots of stuff very, very quickly, but there's a lot of use cases that we're not covering. And so if there's anything that you run up against where you want to do something that's outside of something that we've built into Supabase JS, or if you just want to do some really complicated SQL-y stuff, you can go and write a function and expose that to the front end using RPC. And if you do security Invoker, then it's going to still enforce all of those RLS policies and everything. So super powerful little like what's it called, escape hatch for if you want to do anything outside of the norm.
Yeah, Postgres can do so much. You know, the scope is so big that we don't have UI for everything yet. We will get there.
Alistair's task is to implement literally everything that Postgres can do.
Oh wow!
In the UI in the dashboard. Nice. Awesome. Okay, cool. So that's working now. So we probably want to build a page for that particular room, right?
Let's do it. Although let's do one more test just to let's see if our default null works. If we just don't pass through a test name, just create another room. Super quick check.
So here, if we don't pass anything,
I think you still might have to pass an object, a blank object. I'm not sure of the RPC. Nah?
That'd be ugly.
That'd be ugly.
Supabase is better than that, right? Big calls. Yeah, cool.
Oh wow.
So we get back our data.
Supabase apparently is that good. I was full of doubt. Did you see it in my face? I shouldn't have been. Nice.
So did we?
Yeah, let's just, when we get our data back, let's just redirect to /room/the ID I think that's the simplest thing UI-wise right now.
Yeah.
Then we
I was
can
just
move.
thinking maybe we want to be able to actually name our room, but maybe we could actually, maybe just creating a new room, maybe that could take you to a new room and then you could name it once you're there. Maybe
Yeah, we can write an update rule.
do.
It can be like Facebook Messenger where anyone can in the room can update the name.
I like it.
I like that.
All right. So so the easiest way to do this is to just say router, which we don't have. Actually, we probably don't need to go. I just do this because it's.
No, you got to do that. Otherwise, I'll feel like I'm using Next.js from like, I don't know, 3 years ago.
Yeah, you must always use hooks anytime there are hooks for anything. That's the rule. So now if we say router.push, then we can push to, I'll use one of these and say /rooms/ and then our data.id, I guess. What do we want to do? Well, yeah, we can't go data.name because we might not have a name. And it doesn't like me. Probably.
Did we have a type for rooms? Yeah.
Good question. Did we?
Where are our types?
So types?
It's all over the place, isn't it?
It's all over. Let's just put it at the top of the. Let's just put it at the top of the file. It's fine.
All right. So a type for room is going to be.
Should it be room instead of rooms?
Yeah, it's just lagging.
Oh yeah.
No worries. You good? You good?
An ID which can be a number.
Can it?
String, right? Isn't it?
It is definitely a string. Do we do capitals? No, lowercase. All right.
TypeScript is lowercase. Yep.
All right.
Tyler, once again, you're on it for the stream.
Yeah.
All the small details, I guess.
So it is a string because we're using UUIDs, and so that is a big, long, hopefully
random string. Yeah.
String. And then we have a room has a name, which is going to also be a string. Although this is an optional string, isn't it?
It is. Yep. Or it's technically name. It's string or null. It's not because it can't be undefined. Just one bar in TypeScript land. Yep.
Did we have?
I think this is it.
We had a created at, I think.
Oh right.
That is also going to be a string, right?
I think so.
Cool. How about we just quickly actually check the schema for our rooms. So yeah, we have an ID, a created at, and a name.
Oh man, your Australian internet isn't holding up well. It's like jumping about. Your face is good. You're
nice good. That's the important part.
Yeah, that's the important part.
For sure.
I should be connected over Ethernet. It must be it must just be dodgy internet.
Yeah.
So the problem here is that this is saying that it doesn't know what data actually is. Can we do something like this?
You got it.
Nice.
And then you might need a just to check there is a room, so data exists. I'm sure we can just like return alert again, which is that works.
Yeah.
And then I think I wonder, can we add like a .single onto this?
Oh right.
Sure. On the end of .rp after the call to RPC.
This is trying to give us back
an array. Yeah.
Right.
So we need to tell it. That's what I'm saying. If you after .rpc right after the function call right on the end, what options do you have? Do you have .single?
Oh yeah, of course. Wait, no, I don't. Maybe.
Let's try it out. Let's try it out. Maybe.
Well,
maybe
why not?
Work. Yeah.
Why not?
Maybe
actually,
not.
yeah. No, that. Yeah. Sure. Why not? Cool. That's weird because RPC doesn't necessarily give you like anything.
It can give you anything.
It's just you can do anything. Yeah, you can return a number. You can.
But it's fine with telling it that we are getting back a single thing.
Okay.
And
it's happy. I mean, as long as TypeScript's happy, it means there are no errors.
We live to serve TypeScript.
I mean, if TypeScript is happy, we can just get rid of error here, right? Because nothing could go wrong. All right, fine. If we have an error, we can do our lovely trusty trick here and alert out our error.
And you need a return there as well, just to stop it moving on. Although we do have it wrapped. It wouldn't break, but you know. Nice.
That's it.
Yeah.
So now we can click our button. It will
Click the
pass
button
us
again,
into the
see
room,
if it
which will
redirects us.
404, because we don't actually have any a page for that. Let's have a look. Yeah, cool.
Perfect.
It's
Okay.
ordered to rooms, and then our UUID. Whoops. I could probably just close this. And then, yeah, we're getting this 404 because we haven't actually built this page yet. But
So
that
that
is,
single on RPC did work.
yeah, that did work. Yeah, that's very cool.
Nice.
So if you were using, yeah, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. If you're using JavaScript, you wouldn't need to do this because we're only doing this to tell so that TypeScript is happy. But this, no. Anyway, new file. So we're going to create a new page, and this is going to be under rooms, and it's going to be called, I guess it'll be our room ID. So we can put ID here.
.js. What is this?
Done.
I was so hopeful. Nearly got one past. Look, as soon as I do it, everything goes red. It's just like, no, you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to create a new file. All right. I think we were doing export function.
Do we want to just copy over the homepage? Because I
Index
think on the
page,
homepage
yeah.
we'll just put a list of our rooms. I don't want you to move it over. I just want you to copy pasta.
I feel like we extracted a a messages component or something. Yeah, we can just
Tyler made us make a
reuse
component.
that component.
Smart.
Or something like that. Yeah.
Because now we can just use this. Wait, can we?
What argument are we taking on this one? So we could probably, pass a room ID or something here and listen to a particular room of messages. Yeah.
You're exactly right.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that. So if we said there is an ID prop, but is optional.
Could we call it room ID instead of maybe ID?
Good call. So if we did this, then here where we're getting, wait, do we need to do that?
I think that's fine. Yeah, we can.
I want you to still write some proper TypeScript types. That's what I'm hung up on. But we do need to add an equality thing in the select and also in the real-time thing. But I think Tyler will have to tell us how to do that because I don't know the syntax off the top of my head.
Well, actually, let's go ahead and do the TypeScript thing. That's kind of bugging me as well. Room ID can be anything, I guess, right now.
John,
all right.
Can you make me a new type, please, for type messages props?
Messages props?
Yeah, why you can call it what you like. I'm not concerned about the name.
And this has a room ID, which is either a number, either a string or it is.
Shall we make it required, like you always have to be in a room, just to simplify things a bit?
In that case, so what are we gonna do with the home screen? Are we getting rid of that public?
Oh yeah, the home screen should just be a list of rooms that you're allowed to see, right?
Oh, okay, so we're not gonna.
so.
We're getting rid of all the public.
This was what I was stuck on as well. I was trying to make this work for both contexts, like for both pages, and yeah, we definitely don't need that other page. All right, so we need to have a message. A room ID. So we'll get rid of this, and then this. Can we do this or will it complain like usual? Nice. Beautiful. Go TypeScript.
Go TypeScript.
And then we want a dot match on. I guess we could just do room ID, couldn't we?
Room _ ID will be there.
Of course.
Remind me, what is the difference between match and EQ? I always use EQ whenever
Me
I do
too,
this. Yeah.
Yeah, I think EQ. I think matches. I think it's a more recent addition. So
okay.
yeah, EQ, you can give it like the name of the column and then what you want the value to be.
Mm.
So I mean, the same thing would be if we wanted room underscore ID to be equal to our room ID value.
Mhm.
But then if you wanted multiple conditions, you'd need to chain
Right.
on multiple EQs and go through each rule that you want to apply. The cool thing about
Mm.
match is that it's just an object. You just pass through a collection of things. So you could
Oh,
say like ID is 1, 2, 3, and
right.
name is 1.
yeah. So it's a
Oh, nice.
little nice time-saving thing there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Nice, nice.
And then if you did, like if we, for example, if this was room underscore ID, which wouldn't be right for JavaScript land, but yeah, you can do like nice shorthandy things. Objects. All right. So
what that reminds me, though, we do need to jump back over to Supabase land and add a room ID column to messages, because at the moment they're just in
Right.
true.
In the normal mega room, which doesn't
floating
exist.
around in the
So
ether.
we'll probably
We have to delete everything, don't we?
We will, but let's just for the sake of just keeping them there, we can stick them in some random room.
Yeah.
Even though the people who wrote them won't be able to see them, but we'll immortalize. Is that even a word?
Well, how about we add a classic room.
Classic room, nice.
Nice.
And then we can put everyone in classic. Everyone that was here with us from the start. So we can copy that UUID.
Oh, that's actually a good idea. Let's just write a real fast bit of SQL. There's a super neat trick here. I can show you how to insert from one table to another. So insert into room participants. And then we need the two columns, which one is room ID and the other is the profile ID, I think it was called. Now, here's the cool trick, right? Instead of doing values, we can just write a select statement. So you can say select and then your string that you copied with the ID, and then comma, and then ID, I think it would be called, because we'll select from profiles. So we're just, and then you say, from profiles, and that's it.
That's very cool. So we're selecting this static value. So that's the first thing.
For every row.
Putting in room ID. And then the ID is coming from, wait, should this be profiles or messages?
Profiles, because we want to make a new room participant for every profile for that classic room.
Right. This is
everyone who's already signed up will be a member of that.
Cool.
Oh, nice.
Awesome. And then, and so that's to enable them to be able to see it. And then we could say update.
Well, we haven't added the column yet, but we can.
We need a column. Definitely need a column. In messages, we want to add a column for room underscore ID. And then the type for this one is going to be UUID. The default value will be
we'll leave it as nullable for now, and then we'll come and switch it off nullable after we've put a value in for everything.
Yes, because if I try doing this, it's going to tell me, hey,
it will yell at you.
Existing rows
that
validate that not nullable constraint.
Nice.
Now we can come back here and we can update messages and set room underscore ID to equal this. And
we actually,
for the first time ever, we don't have to write a where clause. We can just do this because we want it to go on everything. Awesome. Just
now we can make it not
my
null.
own rules in the same stream.
I know. We always need a
Who'd have
working
thought?
script.
So now we have a room ID. So everyone is now in that classic channel. So actually, if we could kind of build this out from
Oh, nice. Yeah, so we got some messages.
UI, because then we'll have some messages to see. So yeah, obviously we haven't actually built the component, but that's what we're
do you
doing.
want to remove that not null constraint before we forget?
Yes, very good idea. So we can edit this column and we can make it not nullable. And now, because every single one of our rows has a value for room_ID, it's going to allow us to add that constraint.
And now we've broken the whole chat.
Yeah. If we go back to the whoa. Yeah, everything's broken. No data.
No data.
It's an excellent error message. And if we go to /rooms / this one, and this is what we want to build out.
We still got one more thing to do in Supabase land, and that's to add an RLS rule to allow us to see the messages in a particular room. So it's going to be pretty similar to the other rules that we've written using our, what do we call it, is room participant function, which you can see as right last stream.
Yeah.
We just need it for the messages.
Cool. So we need a new policy for select where let's start from the top. All right, the policy name is users can select messages that they are in the room for.
Fantastic.
So we select that. And then, so we're calling isRoomParticipant. This is running on the messages table. So the message has a room_ID. So this is it. That's all we have to do. Just have to zoom out slightly so I can get to the button. If only we had someone from the front end team. All right. So we've added our policy for messages. I just realized we have this other select. So we want to get rid of this now, right?
Yep.
Because otherwise we would just be opening up all
everything to everyone.
Yeah. Cool. So we've got rid of that. We still want our insert. So a user can still insert a message for themselves, which is good.
But they could. Yeah, we do need to update it. We don't want them to be able to insert into any room. We want them to be able to insert their own messages into a room that they're a member of.
We want to say, and room participants.
Or don't you have it in your clipboard? It's exactly the same thing.
Is nice. Room participant. Awesome. And I'll just zoom out. Awesome. Cool. So now we've actually got, security and safety back in place.
Yeah, just like that, we're secure.
Yeah.
Everything's back to private.
Oh, amazing.
This is, enterprise level, enterprise grade application. Happy chat.
Enterprise colors as well.
Yeah, that's right.
For sure.
Cool. So now we've got our two messages policies. And so now we can go and fix our actual room. So here we just want to return, probably want all of the stuff from here.
Yeah, just copy everything for now. We can sort it out as we go.
Even our type room?
No, we're going to delete that because we're not going to create a room from a room.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll put this in here and then we'll get rid of... What have I done? Oh, God. Get rid of that. Get rid of that one. So we won't need a router because we don't need to route to a new room because
we do need the router still because we need to grab our current room ID, right?
Yes. We don't need to. We do need to be able to add messages, but we don't need to be able to create a room. We can get rid of this head stuff, right?
No page title for us.
All right, fine. I'll just bring in all of these.
Some of the paths will be slightly wrong because we're in a folder. Nothing a quick something can't fix.
All right.
And I think you need an also export default there.
All right. And we don't need a next page because we're using that in our something. We don't want to be able to create a room anymore, so we can get rid of this button. And then our messages is now telling us, hey, you made a promise and you did not keep it. So this messages component now needs a room ID. So we can say room ID, and that's going to equal our room ID variable that we haven't created yet. But we are going to create right here.
We might have to also wrap it in a conditional because Next.js on the first render renders with null as the query params. So it won't be there for the first render.
No, it'll be that. Wait, is that just the query params like after the question mark? Does it would still have the path of the URL, right?
Because I think because of static rendering, it has to. It's all right. Just keep going. We'll sort it out. Or console log it and see what we router.query because we want router.query.id, right?
Yeah.
And then if we
And then if we console log out our ID and then we refresh our page. Yeah, all right.
No. I mean, we didn't name it room ID.
Just rename it to room ID. Or that works.
All right, we'll come back to you. All right, we still have no data. But yeah, you're right. It's undefined on the first render.
Yep. So we can just wrap our component in room ID or ID and messages, like because it would be so quick you won't even see it.
Cool.
Oh, I think it's called ID right here. And then it's still, because it could be an array of strings, literally just go and write as string there, because we could make a little function to say, is it an array? Grab the first thing, but
do you mean
we're
up
not going to
here
bother. Well, maybe you do const ID equals router.query.id as string. So, yeah.
And we can just name it properly and say room ID. Then come down here and call this room ID, and this one room
Last one.
ID.
I think there's one more.
Oh, is there?
Oh, yeah.
We can probably get rid of the console log, I guess.
Yeah. All right.
And then we should update our submit function as well when we send a message to.
Oh yeah, good point.
Include the room ID. But it
At
looks
least
like
we saw it on the chats.
Yeah.
Great.
Nice. So yeah, if we have, when we insert, we want to match. We want to match on.
I don't think we want to match here because we're not selecting. We want to include the room ID in the actual body of the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That makes a lot more sense.
Beauty.
Nice.
Oh, and then that should be everything.
One thing I'm remembering is we didn't take care of the real-time portion of this, right? We didn't set any filters in our real-time listeners.
Yeah.
So if you try to submit something.
Where have our real-time? Oh yeah, no, this is in messages, right? So then here we're matching on the room ID, but then down in our messages where we're calling. Actually, no, that's just calling get data again. So that should be scoping it down to the room ID.
But it will unnecessarily call get data too many times for whenever you get a message from any of the rooms you're in. So we might as well add a little filter here. Tyler, you were just working with this syntax right.
I
for the
was,
filtering.
yeah,
Nice.
I was trying to answer a Stack Overflow question, I think, or what was it? I don't remember what exactly I was working on with this, but what is the syntax? Is it?
I think it's this. I think it's so messages.
Oh,
You
yeah.
got to tell it which part of,
Like
or
it's
maybe it's
messages
colon.
colon and then room ID equals
And then EQ dot,
EQ dot, yeah.
and then the
Now,
value that we want.
yep. Should work, I
Nice.
think.
That's the other thing we should do is instead of just calling get data every time, we should implement Tyler's little user cache thing.
I like it. Yeah. Should we
Some
do that
point.
now? Or should we, let's see if this
Yeah,
works.
Let's
see.
unbreak
see.
the app first.
All right. So we're still not getting new messages.
That was way too fast.
Oh, me swiping across and
Yeah.
swiping back.
Yeah.
Did it? I think there's a delay still. All right. So we're selecting all of the messages where the room ID matches our current ID.
That part should be okay, right? What if?
Yeah.
What are we doing within the listeners? Okay, wait, we're just going to
And then if the room ID equals that ID, then anytime there's a new insert, we're just calling that function again. Which
maybe
is
put the get data as but we're not. Are we? We're not using it as a callback. This might be a stale closure thing in React land. But
even still, this first refresh, like this isn't actually, unless it didn't insert. Does this work?
What if we get rid of the filter thing in the real time on statement? Would it work? My guess is it will work, and there's something we have to fix with the filter thing. I was actually playing around with this real time filter this past few days, and I discovered I was bugging Wembo basically.
Yelling at Wenbo.
Yeah. But yeah, he taught me something new about real time in Supabase. So let's try to get rid of all the filters that we had with not right there, but on the real time listener. So right there on line 48. So let's just make it just messages. Let's just listen to the entire messages table for now. And
can we just quickly make
too.
sure that the messages were coming through? Sorry, Tyler. It's because did you try refreshing the page, John?
Oh. Yeah, I don't think the messages are actually coming. I don't think the new messages are being written. I think
okay.
I think we're failing back in handle submit. I think we're failing here.
Well, it should alert the error. Can you just look at the console, the network tab, and we'll see what happens on an insert. Post 201 created, response on insert. Can you see if there's a room ID in that?
Yeah,
so there is
room ID,
and it matches
room ID.
This room ID. So maybe are they coming down out of order? Like, is the message somewhere in there?
That could be a thing.
If you just command F for on insert.
We want on our messages to do a dot order, and we want to order by created at, and it was ascending false, wasn't it?
Nice.
Maybe
I thought we did that, but maybe we just talked about
doing
it.
Yeah, maybe we've refactored so many times we just keep changing little
bits. But
still
still, on insert isn't there, is it?
No.
Is it at the top? Did we maybe?
Yes.
Oh, so ascending true.
Which I think is just the default, isn't it? So we can just get rid of this.
Yeah.
Order by created at. And then we are getting
nice.
Okay. Now we can filter this back down.
Yeah. Let's filter the real-time portion.
So this was
colon room ID equals dot eq.
dot.
Was it eq dot? Yeah, you're right. I'm wrong.
Just had to write this like just before the stream. Actually, that's the only reason I remember the syntax. So now, if we say hi, we're getting it. Cool.
Did you give it a
great.
refresh?
No. Is it still worked?
Oh, great. Great.
It is still
Okay.
working. Awesome. Cool. So let's fix this up now. Tyler, do you remember what your suggestion was before we put you on the spot and say let's implement it?
Oh, are you gonna do that? Okay. So the suggestion was that we are setting up the real-time listening. We are getting the actual data in this listener. So instead of calling get data and retrieving the entire chat thread, messages thread on every single new messages, we can just store all those messages in a variable, and we can just append a new message as they come through within this real-time listener. Now, one problem that we might have with that is we are not getting the profiles when we do that. We're not getting the profiles data within this real-time listener because in real-time listener you cannot do joins in Supabase. So one suggestion that I had was we can have basically a map object of profiles. So it'll be like a key value pair where key is the profile ID and the value is the actual profile of the user. So we'll have all the participants' profile data in that variable, and we can just access that variable to display the profile data as users post things on this messages happy chat. Basically, that's what it is. Yeah.
Cool. So would we be keeping a separate thing here for profiles, like a separate variable for profiles?
Mm-hmm.
I think a small optimization we could make as well is storing this as a ref, because we don't actually need it in React land. We can.
Oh, that's a good point.
We could even just make it like a global object outside of the component, which it kind of scares me, but then it would persist across chat rooms if you had the same users from different rooms.
That might be nice.
Yeah. Let's just use a regular JavaScript object. What a novel concept.
Do you mean up here?
Yeah, why not?
How do we do the select from Supabase though?
No, we'll make a little get profile function which matches on the profile ID and then returns the user. So this is just like it's a let because it's mutable. And like, I don't know, profile cache. What do you want to call it, Tyler?
Sure. Yeah, I like that. Could we make it const though? This weird thing with objects
you can.
Yeah.
Const isn't const, but I like to just like have it
because it's more intuitive.
Let, because it's you just
okay, I agree with that.
Oops. So we're going with let, and
it doesn't matter. You can pick
an object.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it should just be a default object for now.
Oh, right. Okay, and then
we'll write into that object as we load profile data into this app.
So the first time we do get data.
Yeah. So this is the tricky part, right? It's not gonna be pretty, I think. How should we do this?
we can just use a map. So you ready to type like the wind, John?
I am, because I didn't realize when I suggested that we implement this that we have like 7 minutes left of the stream.
Well, we might have to run over by a little bit because we want to push it up, and so we'll have to fix the profile page as well. But data dot map before set messages probably, and we want to extract out all the profiles. So we have a message, and we'll just do message dot profile. We don't even need parentheses. We're just narrowing it down.
What am I doing?
Message dot profile. You got to type like the wind. You got to go fast.
This wind is blowing real slow.
We'll do another map.
Should we do a set? Should we do like that cool stuff? Because we just want all the unique values, right? Never mind.
Actually, no, that's a good point. I was just. Oh, they'll get overridden anyway once we set it. So, and then we can just do. Whoa. All right, we're going functional. Yeah,
Wait,
we can
is
go
that what we
functional.
wanted
I was
to
just going to do a dot for each and then set each one in the object. So no, sorry, after the dot map. So we're using the map to narrow down to the profiles, and then on the end of the map, we'll do dot for each profile, and then in our object, set each profile.
If it's not already there, you mean?
Or even if it is there, it will just get overwritten to the same thing. It doesn't really matter.
Right. So you're saying for each.
This is a profile, yeah. This is what you're imagining, right, Tyler?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Profiles cache. Is that what we called it? No, profile cache. And then we want to set the profile dot ID.
Yep.
We'll actually have to grab that then from the next to username in our select statement. We're just grabbing the username right now. We can just do username. Why not?
Is set to an object.
Oh no, we do need to do the ID, sorry, because when the message comes down, we'll need to look up by the ID because that's all that comes through on the message. Okay, and TypeScript's going to yell at us again because...
no way, wouldn't do that.
Because we're going fast, we're just going to any it right now, John. I know how much you like it. We've got to move quick.
What I've been hoping for.
No, not that any. Go back to the object and just make it any. Up on profile cache. Sorry, where we originally
variable
set it.
declaration, right?
Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Object as any. Or if you want to do the colon, you have to do the yeah. Double any.
Double down.
We need to update our type because we're just in the type. We're just grabbing the username. It's at the top.
You said we were going to move fast.
Yeah, we're going fast. And then yeah.
Okay.
Now we update our get data thing, right?
Yep. So now in the real-time listener, yeah, we can get rid of get data. What do we want to do? Yeah. What we want to do is
our ultimate goal is to set the messages again, right? But so we need to build our new message object. So the thing that's missing is the profile object. So we need to slot in our profile from
we can do that, or we can either in the UI layer we can just access the profile username by profile cache.
Well, I was imagining, yeah, you could do it that way, but then when it comes down, when a new thing comes down, you have to do a get somewhere in the UI layer, right? Which will be weird. Like if a new user joins the chat and we don't have the profile cached, I think we'll probably do it next stream. We'll have to do a lookup here. John, you're on it.
Something like, whoops.
Payload.new.profile_ID.
Like this?
I think so, yeah.
That's long. But yeah, for anyone watching, what we're doing is we're constructing a new array. So that's these outer square brackets here. We're then spreading in all of the current values. So this is what the messages are currently. And then we're adding a new object. We get payload.new, which is just going to give us back the message itself. And then what we're trying to achieve here is that we want to spread in this profile here that's made up of our ID and our username. And so that's what we're doing here. We're creating a new key for profile, and then we're going to the profile cache and looking up the ID for the current profile.
Yeah.
So it should give us back our ID and username. So this object should now be in the same shape as all of our other messages profiles.
We will need to do a check to see if we've actually got the profile, but maybe we can leave that until the next stream.
All right.
because then we'll write a little function. If we don't have the profile, we'll go and fetch it and then append the message with that new profile. But yeah, we're running out of time, so we'll leave it as this kind of working.
Small
if
optimization.
Yeah.
So it should feel faster. Does it feel faster?
It feels way faster. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not grabbing that whole list of functions again.
Why did it stop scrolling at the bottom?
Why has it stopped
That
scrolling?
concerns me.
Yeah, where was our scroll thing?
Oh, was it within get data?
It might have been.
So this was yes, it was within there. So anytime, yeah.
So we can leave it in get data and add a copy right under after our set messages. Yeah, nice.
Could pull this out into a function and just use it. Call it in each of those.
We're going fast.
Oh, we can just copy and paste it all over the place.
We're going too fast. And now scroll work. Oh, and it's like instantaneous. Very cool.
Very fast.
Yeah, this is way faster. So just quickly, like we should finish up here. But so if a new user joins and that new user posts a message and then that triggers our subscription. So this gets called, but we don't currently have a profile for the user because they signed up for an account after we had loaded the application. This wouldn't handle that use case, would it?
Right. So what I like to do typically in this scenario is I would actually so this comes down to what I was talking earlier. Instead of appending or adding this profile object within the messages object, we can from the UI show the profile username by accessing profile cache bracket profile.id, and we'll show like a loading thing if it was null. And then when we get a new message payload within this real-time listener, we'll just append that new message right away synchronously. That way, in the UI, the message will be available as soon as possible. But initially, it'll just say loading or something. And then later on, we'll within this real-time callback, we'll do a check to see if that profile exists within the profile cache. And if it doesn't, we can just go ahead and fetch it and append it to the profile cache.
Cool.
Except
right. So when
in this case,
so this is telling us that we have a new message. So we would then check if we have that in the cache, then we would do it this way. But otherwise, like not handling the loading state part. But if we didn't have it in the cache, then we would do another select to Supabase. Is that right? So we'd select from the profiles table where the ID equals profile underscore ID. And that would give us that new one that we could write to the cache. Is that right?
Yep. Yeah. No, that's a good point, Tyler. If we put it in the UI layer, we can show that still have the instant, side of things, but have it load in as it needs it, which is that's nice.
Minor user experience improvement, I guess.
All right, last thing, John. Should we just like change the index page to just have like the create button or something? Because then we can push it up and it'll at least kind of work, and you can chat in a room by yourself. There's no way to invite anyone into a room yet. But
sure.
Or maybe for the people that do currently have an account, we could just put a static link to the classic room. So we can still jump in there for anyone that's already in there. Just hard code the ID.
Wait, what do we want to do? We want to get rid of all of this stuff.
We can get rid of handles, not handle create room. We want that.
Where's my cursor? Up, there. Cool. So we want to be able to create a room, and then we just want to have.
We can leave that button there for now, because where the messages list is at the moment, I think next time we'll put in a list of your rooms. But for right now, where it was the messages component, we could just put a link to the classic room.
But then that
Under
wouldn't
the
work for
H1.
anyone else.
It won't. It will. No, it'll only work for people who have already been in the chat. So like
Premium.
it's props. Yeah, it's you got in early. You can use Happy Chat until next week.
A link, is it to or is it href?
Href, I think it's React Router that's 2.
Yeah. And we want to go to /room. What am I doing? We just want this to go to /rooms/ and then our classic ID. I absolutely hate this, by the way. Can I just call out that is the most annoying thing, doing an empty A and putting a href on the parent that then just magically disappears. I don't like it at all.
It is controversial, to be sure.
Yeah, so this won't actually work for anyone who, anyone who randomly finds this and wasn't here at this point, but we'll make it work next week. Cool. So we have our link to there. So if we go to our landing page, looks beautiful. We'll pick this up next week. So we've got Happy Chat. We can click new room. We can join the classic room. So if you click join the classic room, it will take you here. And if you click new room, it will take you to a brand new room.
Can you send a message in the
talk
new
to
room?
yourself endlessly, and no one will ever be able to join you or respond until we actually implement that functionality, which might be nice.
Can you try to send a message in that private room?
The send a message to yourself, Sean. I just want to see, because we manually added ourselves to the classic room. We just want to see if our RPC function works well with the create room. Nice.
Awesome.
So that works.
Wow.
But yes, no one would be able to join this without going through the Supabase dashboard for now. But yeah, we will implement that on the next one. Actually, on the next one, that does remind me, we will have spoilers. The next one, we're going to have a special guest. The special guest we were meant to have last week, but now we get him this week. So Koppel's going to come on next week, Paul Copplestone, our CEO. And we get to grill him and ask him all the really difficult questions and make him build something in public in front of all of the people that use his product. It's going to be great. So yeah, that'll be next week. And then the following week, I guess we'll come back to, I keep saying like, oh yeah, we'll get to Flutter after that, but we keep having awesome features to just think how robust a backend this is going to be by the time we finally get to Flutter. It'll just be like 3 lines and the whole app will be finished. It'll be amazing.
Oh, MS has a good point, John. You got to push to GitHub. You got to deploy.
Yeah. We're not free yet.
We're not free yet. Yeah.
All right.
But I will say, while John does that, it's the same time next week, although we'll be in person, which is going to be fun. Full HD for us, same for you.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be doing it in person. So Alistair's gonna bring his fancy multicam setup. I think he promised us.
Now you've oh, I've got to buy some things. Got to buy another cam link, or maybe you can bring yours.
We'll see. I can bring mine for sure. But yes, we'll be back next week with a special stream. And then the week after that, we'll keep building out Happy Chat. But yeah, definitely go check out Supabase. It's awesome. Check out our Supabase YouTube channel. We're streaming live on here, but also there's a whole bunch of great videos of all kinds of cool Supabase-y, postgres-y things that you can learn. Yeah, come like and follow and whatever our new Twitch channel, which you can see we're currently streaming on right now. Follow us on Twitter at Supabase, and then you can click through to our Discord link here.
Come say hello. Yeah.
If you come join our Discord, where we have 920 people currently online and 6,778 people building cool stuff with Supabase. I think that's it. thanks for joining
It's
us.
deployed. It's up there. If you're in the, let me see. Does this still work? I'm in the classic room. It looks like it does for me.
Sweet.
Awesome. So we join the classic, and then I again don't have.
Oh, you're not logged in.
Not signed in.
Great finish.
Yeah, excellent finish. There's our RLS error. But yeah, thanks for watching. Enjoy. Have a good
Thanks,
week.
everyone.
And
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, happy
See you
building.
in 7 days.
See you
Yep.
next week. Bye, everyone.
Oh yeah, I need
Bye,
to
everyone.
play this video.
Oh, you need to press
Bye.
the buttons. Bye. For the second time.